On the freezing afternoon of February 6, 1958, a plane carrying Manchester United crashed in Munich. The disaster claimed the lives of 23 people, including 8 of the legendary Busby Babes. But one man who should have been on that plane was hundreds of miles away in Cardiff. His name was Jimmy Murphy, the assistant manager of Manchester United. He was not on the flight because he had another job, managing the Welsh national soccer team. The night before, Murphy had been on the touchline at Ninian Park, leading Wales in a desperate World Cup playoff. That single match saved his life and set up one of the most bizarre stories in soccer history. Wales, a country that had already been officially eliminated from the World Cup, was about to shock the world. To understand how they got there, we have to look back at the chaos of the qualification rounds, because Wales did not qualify through skill or points. They qualified because of a geopolitical crisis, a series of boycotts, and a lucky draw. It was a chain of events so unlikely, it has never happened again. The story begins with a country that everyone refused to play. In the 1958 World Cup qualification cycle, Israel was placed in the Africa and Asia zone. But the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East was extremely tense. One by one, Israel's opponents refused to take the pitch. Turkey refused to play them, protesting their placement in the Asian zone. Indonesia demanded to play on neutral ground, but FIFA rejected the request. Egypt and Sudan withdrew entirely, citing political conflicts. This left Israel in a bizarre position. They had won their entire qualification zone without kicking a single soccer ball. Under normal circumstances, they would have booked their ticket to the tournament in Sweden. But FIFA had a strict rule, created to protect the integrity of the tournament. No team could qualify for the World Cup finals without playing at least one match, unless they were the hosts or defending champions. FIFA scrambled to find a solution. They decided to organize a special playoff between Israel and one of the runner-up teams from the other zones. They put the names of all the European runners-up into a cup for a lottery draw. The first team drawn was Belgium, but the Belgian Football Association refused the offer, believing it was unsporting to qualify this way. So FIFA reached into the cup again. This time, the name on the paper was Wales. Unlike Belgium, Wales did not hesitate. They had finished second in their qualifying group behind a powerful Czechoslovakia team. Their World Cup dreams had been dead for months. Suddenly, manager Jimmy Murphy received a phone call offering his team a second chance. He accepted immediately, gathering his squad of players, which included the legendary John Charles. The press quickly dubbed them the Lucky Losers. The playoff would be a two-legged tie, with the winner heading to Sweden. The first leg took place in Ramat Gan, Israel, in January 1958. In front of a passionate home crowd, the Israeli team put up a fierce fight, but the quality of the Welsh side shone through. Wales won the match 2-0, taking a massive advantage back to Cardiff. The second leg was scheduled for February 5, 1958. It was the night that would change Jimmy Murphy's life forever. Murphy wanted to travel with Manchester United to Belgrade for their European Cup match. But United's manager, Matt Busby, insisted that Murphy stay in Cardiff to lead his country. That decision kept Murphy off the tragic flight the next day. On the pitch, Wales completed the job, winning the second leg 2-0. They won the tie 4-0 on aggregate. The country that was eliminated months ago had officially qualified for the World Cup. The celebration in Cardiff was ecstatic, but the joy was incredibly short-lived. The very next day, as Jimmy Murphy traveled back to Manchester, he received the news of the Munich crash. His close friends, players he had mentored, and journalists he knew had perished. With Matt Busby fighting for his life in a hospital, Murphy had to take charge of Manchester United. He spent the next few months holding the broken club together, rebuilding the team from scratch. All while preparing Wales for their first-ever World Cup appearance in Sweden. The emotional toll on Murphy was immense, yet he refused to let either his club or his country down. By the summer of 1958, Wales arrived in Sweden, ready to prove they belonged. Grouped with Hungary, Mexico, and Sweden, everyone expected the Welsh to go home early. But Jimmy Murphy's men were built of tougher stuff. They drew all three of their group stage matches, forcing a playoff against Hungary. In a brutal, physical match, Wales came from behind to win 2-1. They had reached the quarterfinals of the World Cup. In the quarterfinals, Wales faced the tournament favorites, Brazil. Wales had to play without their star forward, John Charles, who had been injured in the Hungary match. Despite the massive loss, the Welsh defense held strong against the Brazilian attack, but they could not stop a 17-year-old prodigy named Pelé. In the 66th minute, Pelé scored his first-ever World Cup goal, a brilliant flick and finish. It was the only goal of the match, ending the historic Welsh run. Brazil went on to win the tournament, and Pelé became a global icon. But Wales had earned the respect of the entire sporting world. They had entered the tournament as accidental guests and left as giants. It remains the most successful World Cup campaign in Welsh history, a campaign that only happened because of a string of political boycotts and a lucky draw. And for Jimmy Murphy, it was the tournament that spared his life, allowing him to save Manchester United. If you want to hear more forgotten stories from soccer history, subscribe to Football Lore. Hit the like button and share this video to keep these legendary stories alive. Watch our next video on the screen now for another deep dive into the archives.